What's up, everyone? It's your boy Unruly here, back at it again with another CDL Hardpoint breakdown video. And today we're going to be going over Rammaza Hardpoint. So, basically, what we're going to go through in this video again is we're going to go over each hill. We're going to break down important key parts of the map that you need to be setting up on and watching over. When and where to rotate through between certain hills, and basic setups that will pretty much secure your section of the map that's needed, especially if you need a certain area of the map in order to rotate through. So basically, some really basic setups that'll keep you, that'll prevent your opponent from breaking breaking into the hill, or winning over rotations or winning spawns. So what I got here on the map, or right here on the screen, is we got each hill here labeled. That Bridge Hill is the first hard point. That back electronic shop, number 2. Barbershop, 3. Construction, this entire construction complex, we just call it construction. And then there's like levels to construction. That's your 4th hill. And then this back ruin section is that 5th hill. So like I said, we're going to go over each rotation. Decent setups for each hill, and when and where you should be rotating through. So for this first hill, say you have B spawn. The ideal team with the B spawn is actually the team with B spawn is actually the favored side for the first 2 hills, because for most hardpoint maps, most maps I should say, there's a spawn that's preferred. So this back B spawn is the preferred spawn because you're the closest to the second hill compared to A spawn, of course. So how you want to be setting up for the first hill is, of course, you're going to need somebody in and around the hill. Usually right about here on this back end, because they can help look over mid, and they can look over who's contesting into the hill. So that's where your first player wants to be. Your second player, or your second and third player, you want to keep them in and around this stretch here. And I say that because that half wall there's a half wall there that's really hard for you to get for you to kill the person off of, and they're responsible for watching the push through rug. Because people from A spawn, they're going to be pushing up your stairs and going into the rug area, and that's where this entire blue section here is the kill zone, because that's where everyone's going to be contesting, and where everyone's going to be contesting, and that's where the initial pushes are going to be coming from. So for your next player, you're usually a sub player. Your AR wants to be here. There's also what we call top construction, or top 3, or T3. That's going to be, there's a little window spot here that when you climb up the ladder, you can get up into here, and the same idea of watching over rug. You want a player at your bus sandbags area to watch over middle map and keep spawns back here for when your teammates die, so then they could rotate back into bridge. And then a good idea. Now this bus sandbags guy isn't very important because he's responsible for watching middle map, and if they want to flip spawns off the rip, they're going to send someone ruins, and they're going to come straight on through here to back electronics. So it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to have someone watching over here. So you could have bus sandbags do that, or you could send another player here. And if you keep one player over here, you want to make sure that someone is in and around over here to watch this back bridge push from bottom rug and up the zebra stairs, zig stairs, Z stairs, you call it, you name it, those stairs that come from the bottom of construction up into there. So that would be an ideal push for if you won those spawns. How I recommend attacking the hill from the opposite side, from the A spawn, is you want to be able to you want to win all control of middle map to help you rotate, and in order to do that, you want top cafe control. So top cafe control is huge, because top cafe here overlooks their push into the hill, watches all of mid, and you can also watch the sandbags here. Now, this is a very important role, so you're going to need help with this. So what I recommend is having someone top soap. Not quite into rug, because two people should be pushing into this hill, especially because you only really need one person. On the other team, you only really need one person to jump into the hill, right? But if you want to beat out these people, you're going to need an AR player and a sub player hopping in here to take out these people up top. And that's Cafe's responsibility as well. So Soap and Cafe are responsible for the top sections of construction. So this area here. Because if nobody's looking over the hill, that one player can act, that one or two people pushing into the hill can take out. It's a 2v1. If you play your numbers right, you should be winning that gunfight. You should be winning the hill over. And then, of course, you're going to be sending that one player through back ruin to go flip spawns for electronics. And if you win, depending on the time, around 30 seconds, 25 seconds, if you win those key gunfights, you shouldn't have more than two people over at the hill. Two's being the most. And you should have them, those guys should be rotating through bottom cafe and getting to the electronics, because top cafe and Soap have middle map control. And so it's literally a free rotation in from cafe. So that's how I recommend attacking and breaking that hill from that side of the map. On that side, you definitely want to have cafe and cafe control, because of cutting off their cover into the hill and taking over mid-map control. Now for the second electronics hill. This hill is honestly really hard to break if it's set up properly. So these are the spawns you want, right? You want to get back electronic spawns. In order to do that, from say the A spawn side, you want to get a player in here. You want to get a player in here. So say you win that scrap time. You want that player to rotate and get back here. The stair section is fantastic to sit by, or even in this back corner of the map. Just sitting right here takes those spawns away, and then the new spawn is going to be in and around front ruins. Or here. Those are where your spawns are going to be, for the most part. Now, if you get a weird spawn, if they get a weird spawn, they're probably going to be spawning in and around crane. Those are the weird spawns. So how I recommend setting it up for, say, you were on the B spawn side, you're going to need to guide sandbags, because you need to be watching all of mid. One player needs to play in and along the hill. One player needs to be back here. That locks down spawns for your team right there. This setup right here locks down spawns. And then you're going to need one player, one or two in the hill to get the initial trades and pushes. And maybe a guy top gun. If you don't want a guy top gun, then you should have him sent in and around construction, because here's why you want such a presence here, is for two reasons. That's because of spawns. That's the closest to the hill. Makes sense, right? But that construction control is important, and it's the reason why teams that get that second hill have problems getting over to barbershop unless spawns flip. So say you win these key important gunfights and you keep spawns around 20 or 30 to 25 seconds through, you want to send someone through construction, through bridge, and down to rug stairs, because what's going to end up happening is if they don't win, you should probably send two people, honestly. The more help, the merrier, because once it gets down to that scrap time and they decide to give up pushing, they're going to stop and they're going to be backtracking and coming through here. Back to ruins, back ruins, and they should be playing for these spawns in the back here. The ideal team would play for these spawns back there. Now, if you're rotating early enough and getting through there, it becomes a race. And by winning a few gunfights, you can gain control of Barbershop. If you rotate before them, send 1-2 people through, and this team is not too experienced or hasn't gotten enough repetitions on this map, or even if they're just an inexperienced group in general, they're going to push for that scrap time. And while they're pushing for that extra scrap time, you're already rotating. So those players that die off scrap time, newsflash, they're going to be spawning with you up here. They're going to be spawning with you up here. And I've watched this in scrims. This rotation over is perfect, because they'll spawn on top of you because it's on the other side of the map. It's safer. And you get that extra help and reinforcements going into Barbershop. So you can actually win Barbershop and be forcing them to spawn here. Is where they'll spawn. They'll spawn there, or they'll spawn, and they won't spawn the whole way back here, but they'll spawn in and around this section here. That's important. That rotation over there is how you win that. And the easiest way to prevent that, if you don't win that scrap time, or if you don't push that scrap time, simply just back up. Just back up. And have players posted top cafe, top soap. Any pushes through middle map is done. You have someone play in and around ruins, one in Barbershop, and a player sitting back here. This spot right here locks down all the spawns there. This player right here locks down this entire back, like, L-shaped section of the map. Because you're not going to be spawning back there unless the game gives you some weird freakish spawn. Otherwise, they're going to be spawning middle map and this like gun right in front of ruin section. So you have top mid control. You have people watching ruins. 2 players ruins. The call out there, he rotates over. If mid has problems, he goes over. It's easy as that. And then your player sitting in there. So really, that's how you should be playing that third hill on both sides there. And if a team that pushes scrap is really going to get penalized for that rotation on construction, because all that help is going to be spawning there. Now for this fourth hill, locking down these spawns in the back is only beneficial for Barbershop. That's it. These spawns back here is Barbershop only. This team that's contesting you from middle map here, that's all pushing in from middle map or ruins, and they all die, they're going to keep spawning over in the middle map area, and they're going to win rotation over to construction. So what you want to do is, say your team is stuck in the spawn area, your team wins Barbershop but is stuck and keeps spawning back in the section here. You want to send your guys off spawn through here. The same way you would push electronics on the other side, because same thing with the first hardpoint. You lock down these back spawns for construction. Boom. Easy rotations in, off spawn. You get this bottom section. So if you're stuck in that Barbershop spawn, it is okay to give away the last 10-15 seconds because you already got the first 45 just by simply backing up. It's okay to do that because your team rotates back over and you're going to be hitting in everyone from spawn. So if they all back up, they're going to be sitting a guy inside there. They're going to want to sit a guy top bridge. They're going to sit a guy sandbags. And they're going to pretty much try to play the first hill the same way for the fourth hill. But if everyone pushes through electronics and flips these back spawns in like a 4v1 or like a 4v2 situation, you're going to outman, you're going to outgun, and you're going to win that back section of the map, which is very important. And the beneficial part of that is even if you can still contest from that side. That contention is there. And the benefit of all of that is even if you don't win that hill off that rotation, the contest time is there because the other team now has to wrap back the same way they would be going for Barber to get into ruins. And I've watched this happen before where teams that actually break this back section here by doing that rotation over from ruins, the contestation, they just stop contesting and backtrack the way they came and set up for ruins. And the perfect way to set up for ruins is almost like you would set up for barbershop. You want middle map control. You want a guy in and around the hill. You want a guy in this back section. They get these same spawns from barbershop. And maybe send a guy to play in and around here or this back alleyway if the half wall doesn't get it. So for 3 and 5, you play the same way barbershop. For 1, 4, and 2, you play the same spots for those hills too. So it's all about rotating early, and it's all about locking down those spawns. Because the same way I recommend playing 1, 4, and 2 is the same way. You want to lock down this back section here. That's it. These are literally the 2 golden spawns. The 2 golden spawns. Spawning back here gets you control of 3 and 5 as long as you keep middle map control. Back here keeps you 2, 4, and 1. You keep middle map control, and this back section here. It's perfect. There's only really 2 spawns that you need to be worried about in order to win this map. You lock down these spawns. This game's all about fundamentals, and which is something that I'm trying to really emphasize to players, is it's not about your stats or anything. It's about playing fundamentally, because if you win these 2 spawns of this map, I promise you the kills will come to you. These setups that I gave you today, the kills will come to you. You literally don't have to do anything, because they're just going to rotate right into a roadblock. So yeah, like I said, those are the 2 real spawns you need to worry about. You focus up on those setups, or even based off your team's chemistry or whatnot, just tweak the setups that I gave you today, and you guys should be playing this map perfectly. It's all, like I said, it's all about rotation, and it's all about setting up, because those kills will come to you, and you'll be such an annoying team, because you'll be there before everybody else. And like I said, that's it. That's all this map is. So if you guys like the video, you guys enjoying the series that I'm doing as I'm breaking down every map for you in the comp scene, and just breaking down basic setups, rotations, and just the basic fundamentals. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!